And so I was very thankful when I saw this came out last week. This is an article by Norderloos, which re-examined the type collections of some of the major psilocybin active species. And in this mycological journal, he used the photographs in my most recent book, Psilocybin Mushrooms of the World, as icon photographs representative of the species concept. So I'm very thankful and very delighted that the taxonomy that I have proposed in my book has held the test of time, and now it's been selected out by other mycologists as true examples of the epitome of what the species concept should look like. And so I just want to close. This is our homepage for people who haven't surfed into it. And this came to me when I was driving down the highway and smoked a joint and listening to the Grateful Dead Terrapin Station, one of my favorite Grateful Dead songs. And it came to me, now, what is this about mushroom mycelium? Because when lightning strikes, mushrooms come up. The mycelium is rhizomorphic. It resembles neurons. And now there has been a report of a meteorite that came from Mars that was found in the Arctics, where mushroom-like mycelial structures have actually been identified. And I believe that this simple replication, this linear replication of cells, is a successful model that is being repeated throughout the universe. Terence McKenna was one of the first people to propose that mushrooms may have come from outer space, and the more that I studied this subject, I think he's right. I think that these forms are self-replicating. Nature builds upon successful models, and I think that these mushrooms, and even psilocybin mushrooms, may indeed be in the future common throughout the universe. Thank you very much.
Hello? We have no more. Oh, yeah. Thank you very much, Paul. This was a very nice journey into the neural system of Gaia. And hopefully it will fructify in your brains somewhere. Before we have a few minutes for questions, I have to make a little correction. You miscredited me for organizing this conference with Claudia. I have nothing to do with it. I'm just a guest. And this was totally done by Claudia, Hans, and Arno. So I just wanted you to know that. And then I gave you wrong information about tonight because we have not the room. So this artistic slideshow will be on Sunday. And then I have a very important announcement. And maybe some of you already know that the surprise guest will be here. And that is Albert Hoffman. And he will even talk to you, but only if you don't party too hard this night. He will be on sharp 9:30 tomorrow morning. No other chance to see him. And now we have already a line of people for questions. We pretty late. There's 3 people in line on the microphone, and I'd like to give you the opportunity to ask 3 questions in total.
Okay. Thank you, Paul, for that talk. That was fascinating. My question is regarding the Liberty capsized mushrooms. Can they be confused with anything that is deadly poisonous?
I can only speak from my experiences in Washington State and Oregon, but there is a species of Galerana in the Galerana venenata complex, which is deadly poisonous. And unfortunately, a 16-year-old girl died about 10 years ago. She was out picking Liberty caps and ingested some of these Galeranas as well. And because of the fear of going to the hospital, and the physicians, it was well known at some hospitals, were hand in hand with law enforcement, as then when these kids would come into the hospitals, they would also have mushrooms and they would bust them. And because it's well known throughout our community that going to the hospital is the worst thing that you can do, She avoided going to the hospital, and she ended up dying. And she's one of the. There's only been 2 or 3 cases that I know of where that has occurred. So here in Europe, I know you have Galerina species in the genus Galerina, but I'm not familiar with the taxa of Europe well enough in the genus Galerina. But you should always be careful. You should know what you're taking. If you take a spore print, it's purple-brown in the genus Psilocybe, it's rusty-brown in the genus Galerina, and there are no poisonous mushrooms that are purple-brown that bruise bluish. There are some mushrooms that are maybe not active, not toxic.
My name is Nate, and I'm from Seattle, Washington State. And first off, I would just like to briefly thank you for spreading this good information, Paul. Thank you very much. And also, my question is in regards to gathering mushrooms outdoors in the springtime, and when the best time for that is, whether it's one day after a rainstorm, and whether or not it's affected by frost in Washington State.
In the fall time, frost actually stimulates Psilocybe azurescens to grow, and that is one of the things that we look forward to since it fruits late in the year. In the springtime, typically it's not after it's well after the first frost, but the springtime, the easiest mushroom to find is Pinelus subalteatus, and that is one of the best species to find in horse paddocks. And that mushroom, no matter where you are in the world, you go into horse paddocks, you're going to find species in the genus Pinelus which will be active. So Pinelus subalteatus is the easiest mushroom to find in the springtime.
And which months would those be?
May through July. You know, it depends on it, because the compost heats up. It's hard to say. But anybody who makes compost piles, you know, you're driving by, you see compost piles of manure wood chips. Stop. You know, it's a good look at time. Yes, John.
Yeah. Hey, Paul. I enjoyed your talk there. I just wanted to mention that worldwide there's 214 neurotropic species of fungi, of which now 170 have been identified as psilocybin. It'll be in a forthcoming paper by Guzman, me, and Johan Gartz.
170?
Yeah, 170.
Great. Hey, the more the better. And I just want to clarify, of course, Arno and Hans, I very much acknowledge and appreciate your help, but I also have a personal mention of gratitude, because we had a flurry of communications via fax and email, which didn't always meet. So, Claudia, thank you for your super effort in getting us here.
Okay, thank you. I think we had a very nice day, a lot of new information, and I was very surprised that all of the speakers came up with something new, unpublished. And for your information, next year, the yearbook number 7, the yearbook for ethnomedicine and the study of consciousness, will publish all the papers of this conference that will be available maybe in spring next year. So I wish you a very pleasant night and have beautiful dreams and curing sleeps. See you tomorrow. Huh?
Good evening.
Before everybody leaves, I would like to say that...
Yeah, me too. I also would like...